pures ja pures puhuttiin. Hommatko David sami kielellä? Huolkat.
Hi everyone, good evening.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome to this very special Eurovision Ireland video where we have myself, James. We also have Richard. Say hi, Richard.
Hiya.
We have Sarah.
Hi.
Bogdan.
Hi.
John. And if you look closely, Staggy's probably around somewhere as well.
Hi.
There he is. Excellent. Right, so...
He says squeak, yeah.
Says squeak. Excellent. So, quick question for everyone here. Who loves Kano? Excellent. Everyone loves Kano. Now, Monument's been a big talking point of national selection season this year, and some of you may have noticed that not all of Monument is sung in English. And part of it is sung in another language, Sámi, which we're going to take a look at today and hopefully try and learn a bit and teach in some basic Sámi phrases. So before we get started, I'm just curious for everyone gathered here, does anyone know anything about Northern Sami?
No.
It's the folk Sami language.
Most widely spoken Sámi language, okay.
It's the top end of Europe.
Top into Europe, okay, so we've got a rough idea of where it's spoken. Excellent. Okay, so we know some things about it, that's great. And hopefully by the end of this video, we'll be able to say some basic things in Sámi, introduce ourselves, ask how we're doing, and also, because this is a Eurovision website, we'll be looking at some Eurovision specific vocabulary. So make sure you watch till the end. So I'm going to start sharing the screen now. We can have a look at a PowerPoint I've made. Can we all see that?
Yeah.
Yep, we can all see that. Excellent. Right. So to start with, we can have a look at what is Sámi. Now, Bogdan pointed out it's the most widely spoken of Sámi languages, and there are indeed more than one Sámi languages. It's a group of languages spoken in the far north of Europe, as John said. So we're looking at the very far north of Norway, Finland, Sweden, and even into Russia. Now, it said Northern Sami is the most widely spoken form of the language, but there are in fact 9 surviving Sámi languages. Now, some of them have gone extinct even in recent years. I believe it was in 2003, the last native speaker of Akala Sámi died. So, you know, these languages are dying out, sadly. And as we can see on the slide, only 6 of them have a written form. And it's the 3 that don't have a written form that are unfortunately moribund. So I was doing some research. I've got notes here. So Pita Sámi, which you can see in the green, just sort of in the middle there. Estimates there are roughly 50 native speakers of Pita Sámi left. Ume as low as 20. And Terra Sámi, which is right over in the east of Russia there. The last time they checked, there sort of seems to be a bit of discrepancy here, but there's somewhere between 10 and 2 native speakers left. So these are quite endangered languages, so we should feel sort of really excited that we're having a look at these. Now, as I said, native number of speakers, the exact number is unknown because of the sort of nomadic nature of the Sámi. It's difficult to get an exact number, but a lot of sources seem to agree on the 35,000 mark. Now, just to put that in perspective for you, 35,000 native speakers, that means that more people speak Icelandic and Welsh than do Sámi. So again, we're dealing with quite a specific, quite a unique language there. And as Bogdan said, the most widely spoken form of that is Northern Sami, which, as you can see there, 15,000 to 25,000 speakers. That accounts for rather a lot of the speakers. So that's what we're going to be looking at in this video, speaking some Northern Sami. Now, before we started the video, I was having a chat with my colleagues, and some of them saying, "Oh, if it's in Scandinavia, you know, I speak a bit of Danish, a bit of Swedish, you know, that should be fine." We all agree with that?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Sámi is not related to any of those languages. So even though it's spoken in Scandinavia, it's actually completely removed from the Indo-European languages family. So just to give you a rough idea, English has more in common with Irish and Farsi than it does with Northern Sami. That's quite something, isn't it? So I've got some words here so you can have a look and sort of compare the vocabulary. Now, I know some of you are looking at that list and thinking, that's a really weird list of words, James. Why have you gone for that? the thing is, these are always the first terms in a language. So if you go back far enough into history, these are things that people would have encountered and there would be terms for in a language. So for example, we have ice, you can see jaar in Finnish and Estonian, jeeg in Hungarian, and jekunga in Northern Sami. So you can sort of see where the links in. They might not be exactly the same, but they're close enough. Going a bit further down the list, you might think things like, well, how does goili come from kala and things? But if you think g and k, you put your finger there, g, k, it's more or less the same sound. So it's interesting to see there. And the same with three. Again, looking, you think kolme, kolm, harom, and golma don't necessarily have a lot to do with each other at first glance, but if you sort of put that h, g, g sound and it's just interesting to see how all those relate in. So that's a bit about other languages it's related to. So if you speak any Finnish, Estonian, or Hungarian, you sort of see similarities. They're not necessarily mutually intelligible, but you will be able to see certain links there. Now, these terms here, agglutinative language, unstressed vowel shortening, consonant gradation, inflex morphology. John's face has just collapsed as I'm reading out this list. These are all very complex linguistic terms, and unfortunately, if you want to learn to speak Sami fluently, you will need to sort of get your head around these ideas. The good thing is, the focus of this video isn't to teach you complex grammar and sort of work out lots of things, because that's not how we as humans learn language. If you think back to how you learnt your first language, no one sat you down and explained everything that was going on. You sort of just pick it up and you start speaking it. So that's what our plan to do is here this evening. So we are going to start speaking Northern Sami. No grammar, no complicated. And also you'll be able to see, I put in the sort of a pronunciation guide to help us. Okay, so how are we feeling? Are we ready?
Yes, we're ready.
Excellent. Let's get going. So the first thing you'd say to someone in most any language is hello. In Northern Sami, that's bures. We all have a go at saying that? Bures.
Boris.
Boris.
Bures. Nice rolled R's. Excellent. So another thing that we'd also say once you've said hello to someone is you might ask, Mito namalea. Mito namalea. What's your name? So if I ask Richard, I might say, Bures, Mito namalea. And Richard might reply, Munamalea Richard.
Yeah.
Do you want to have a go at that? So, Bures,
Okay.
Mito namalea.
Bores, Munamalea Richard.
Fantastic. Now, while we're practicing these phrases, I'm going to ask for Richard to ask Bogdan. So we're each going to try these phrases. So you'll say hello to someone, ask them what their name is. They'll tell you their name, and then they'll ask the next person, and we'll go around in the whole group, so you'll get a practice. Okay, so Richard, I'll ask you to start us off.
Bores, Munamalea.
Boris, Munamalea Bogdan. John, Boris, Midunamalea.
Munamalea John. Boris. Ha, Boris. Munamalea John. Sarah Boris. Midunamalea.
John Boris. Munamalea Sarah.
Excellent, well done. See, there's nothing complicated about that. Right, so now we've introduced ourselves, we've said who we are. Next thing a lot of people do is ask about how the other person's feeling. So to ask how someone's feeling in Northern Sami, we say momana. Have we got saying that? Momana.
Momana.
Mana.
Momana.
Excellent. And the usual reply to that, unless you really want to get into being very complicated, very personal with people, you say, dat mana bures kitu. Which is, I'm fine, thanks. Now, before we start practicing, I'll just draw your attention here. You can see that it's spelt G-I-I-T-U, but that G pronounces as K. So we said it's a very similar sound, so G, K, so it's kitu.
Kitu.
Okay, so I might ask Richard, momana.
Dat mana Bores Kitu.
Excellent. And choose someone to ask.
Bogdan, Momana.
Dat mana Boris Kitu. Sarah, Momana.
Bogdan. Damanak Boris Kitu. John, Momana.
Da manna Boris Kitu, Sarah. Richard, mo manna.
Dat mana Bores Kitu, John.
Always fantastic job, everyone. Now, as I should have said to begin with, none of us are native Sami speakers, so we are trying our best. And Fred Bulio, if you are watching, we apologise in advance for any mistakes we're making, but we are trying, and I think we're having fun doing it as well. We're doing a really good job. Now, once you've said hello and introduced yourself, you might think, well, okay, you might want to sort of try and push the conversation further. But of course, there comes a point we are learning the language, so we are going to have to ask at some point, do you speak English? So to ask someone, do you speak Humatko? So you might ask someone, Humatko Davi Samikiela? Do you speak Northern Sami? Or it's more likely that we would ask, Humatko Angaleskiela? I put that Y in brackets there because it's a slight y sound, but it's Engaleskiela. The good trick with Uralic languages is if your mouth hurts, then you're doing it right. Something my Hungarian teacher told me, and I've always remembered that. So here's how to ask if you speak Northern Sami or English. And of course, you will have answers to that. So you might say, yo. Yes. If someone asks if you speak English, you can say, yo. If someone asks, do you speak Northern Sami, you might feel a bit brave and go, yo, veahash. Yeah, a little bit. More likely though, if someone asks you, do you speak Northern Sami, you're just going to go, e. No, I don't speak it. So, this one's a bit more difficult, but I think we can do this. We're going to go around and ask, so you can choose Humatko, and you can ask if someone speaks Davi Samikiela or Yengaleskeya, and then you can reply with yes, a little bit, no, and that's so. Richard, Humatko Yengaleskeya.
Yo.
You do speak English, excellent. Choose someone to ask now.
Bogdan, Humatko, Davish Sami Killa.
Sarah, Hulmatko Davisen Mikaela.
E. John, Humatko Engaleskiela.
Jo. Richard, Humatko Davisa Makiela.
E.
I was hoping you'd be really brave and say, yo, veahash. Well, that's good. So now we have a bit of an idea how to ask people their language skills and help us out. Because of course we are only learning basic Sami, so we will need to ask people if they speak English eventually. Now, as I said, we were going to learn a bit about introducing ourselves and sort of basic things like that. But as Eurovision fans, we know there are things that you want to know how to say. So I'm going to skip to our next slide there.
Oh dear.
I like that collective gasp that went up for everyone. They're like, oh no.
You have to do the first one.
Well, we could all try that together. So, Eurovision Song Contest. Eurovision Lavlakil Vohalan.
That sounds really pretty, actually.
Sami's
Eurovision
musical language
Love
really is.
Lucky Love Vihallan.
Eurovision Lavla Kilio Vihalan.
Excellent, good try.
Eurovision Lakil Vohalan.
Eurovision Lavla Kilvahalan.
Excellent. So as you see, there is a rhythm to it, and it's unusual because a lot of these sounds we don't necessarily have in English, so you do sort of feel your mouth going a bit, but that's good. As I said, if it hurts you doing it properly. Now, come Saturday when you're watching the Norwegian final, you might want to shout out 12 pung or 12 stemmer for Kano, but you can also shout that out now in Northern Sami with this very easy phrase right here. Now, I can see everyone's eyes going a bit wide at this one. Quaktenu pelok kai chuoka. Now, And that seems really tricky at first. And this is a little language hack that you can use in Northern Sami, Hungarian, Turkish, Polish, anything really. If you see a word like that and it looks a bit sort of crazy and not sure where to start with it, start at the end and then work back. So that sounds crazy, but if we look at that, for example, so kai, pelokai, nu pelokai, te nu pelokai, quack te nu pelokai. It's sort of an easy way to sort of coach your mouth into making the right sounds. So who wants to be brave and declare 12 points for Kano?
Go on, I'll try it.
Excellent, Sarah.
Here we go. Quatinopelo kai chwaka.
Fantastic. Well done. Excellent.
Me.
Well done. Are you going to give it a go?
Kaino. Kwak tenup pelo kai konaka.
Chwalka. Excellent. Good try.
Dwoka. Kind of. Sorry, Kaino. I tried. You still get my 12 points.
Richard, John, who's going to go first?
Boris. Dano. Kwak no pello kai chwogga.
Excellent. Fantastic. And Richard, you going to give it a go?
Yeah, Kano, quoktin up pelaka chokai.
That's a good try.
That's a mouthful. It's a mouthful, that one.
Yes, I must admit the first time I saw it written down, I was like, oh no, that's good. So, quatinopelocai chwoka. Excellent. Now, I want you to imagine something for me. I want to imagine you're right in the far north of Scandinavia. You're up in Kautokeino, as it happens. You're sitting in a cafe, and Kano just happened to walk in at that moment. Now, what are you going to shout at them across the crowded cafe? Well, first of all, you're not going to do that. Don't be that person. You know, people are entitled to a private life. But if you do happen to meet Kano, or you're at a concert of theirs in future, or you know, maybe even Eurovision 2021, we don't know yet, you can always shout out that you love Kano, and to do that in Northern Sami, you say Rakistan Kano. Anyone who speaks Finnish, excellent. Anyone who speaks Finnish might hear some similarities there for the word for love. So who wants to declare their love for Kano first?
I will.
Excellent, Sarah.
Rakistan Keno.
Fantastic, excellent.
Boris. Rakistan Kano.
Excellent. It's a great way to introduce yourself. Hello, I love Kano. Fantastic. Okay, do you want to go?
Boris. Rakistan Kaino.
Excellent. Okay, come on, Richard.
Pakistan Kano.
Fantastic. Excellent. So these are quite useful Eurovision phrases to have, and I know that come Saturday at the Norwegian Melodi Grand Prix, you'll all be shouting these at the television. Fantastic. Now, that's it. As we said, we're only going to give you a short lesson and sort of introduce you to some phrases in Northern Sami. So I guess the last thing that we need to do is learn how to say goodbye. Now, unfortunately, this is a lot easier said than done. Northern Sami makes a distinction between saying goodbye to the person leaving and to the person staying, which to English speakers and speakers of a lot of Indo-European languages, that's a bit of a confusing idea. So if you're saying goodbye to the person leaving, it'd be manadervan. And if that person's staying, you say badsedervan. So you might think, well, which one do I use? Am I leaving? Are they leaving? So please know that the phrase for bye for now, see ya, that kind of thing, it doesn't specify who's leaving, who's going. You can just say mio wide nalit hede. It's a bit of a mouthful for bye for now. So, so before we wrap up, if you could each choose one of these phrases and bid everyone goodbye. So I'll start say mio wide nalit hede.
Mio wide nalit hede.
Fantastic.
Manadervan.
Fantastic. Excellent.
Manadervan.
Fantastic. Excellent.
Manadervan.
Excellent. So, everyone, you now speak Northern Sami. Excellent. So thank you for watching. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Practice these phrases with your friends. Make friends who speak Northern Sami. Cheer on Kaino. And yeah, hope you've enjoyed the video. Miawad nalitede.
Miawad nalitede.
Miolwad Nali Herde.
Bazadevan.
Miawad let hide.
Well, that's everything from us. Keep for watching. Hope you enjoyed learning a bit about Northern Sami. If you'd like to know more or learn more words and phrases in Northern Sami, head on over to Europe in a Day's website. I'll include the link below. And you can learn phrases like cheers, happy birthday, happy new year in Northern Sami as well. Also, make sure you check out EurovisionIreland.net this Saturday for Sarah's live blog of the Norwegian Melodi Grand Prix final. We can promise you it is going to be monumental. Mia Wide Nalid Hede.